So, if we talk about meaningful life, or life with value that counts, that will be the segment of this short portion. It says that Vayichi Yaakov beretz Mitzrayim 17 shana. Yaakov lived in Mitzrayim for 17 years. Rashi explains the famous one. Why is it Satum? What is Parashat Stuma? Why there's no space in between the parashiyot. The parashiyot doesn't end in the middle. There's just one starts right after that. In other words, that the words Vayichi Yaakov start exactly the same line when the Parashat Vayigash starts. Vayachazu ba v'yifru me'od, right? That's what it says. It's a revach of nine otiyot, 9 letters inside, and this is a parasha stuma. The parasha ptucha will be that the next parasha starts at the line underneath it, or like that. To tell you something very, very simple. If you look at Perush Rashi, which we said yesterday, we know that the Shiabut of Mitzrayim did not start immediately as Yaakov died. They didn't right away become slaves. But after the Ptira of Yosef, after Yosef died, as long as Yosef lived, they were okay. So what's the kesher of the death of Yaakov to Shiabut Mitzrayim? And it says that he reminded them all the time, Nistemu enehem ve'libam shel Israel, which is a very, very difficult concept. The eyes and the heart were closed. What does it mean the eyes and the heart were closed? The eyes were closed, they didn't see what was going on. And the heart was closed, that they conveniently forgot where they came from. As long as Yaakov was alive, he always reminded them of where they came from and where they need to go, and so on and so forth. Rav Shimshon Hirsch says that this parasha is tuma and is not patuach, is not so-called looks independent, like hanging on by itself. That the Torah that comes the Torah to teach us that the 17 years that Yaakov was in Mitzrayim, lived in Mitzrayim, might have seen as good years, right? Because from a national point of view, it was a very good. I mean, they prospered. They had the economy was good, and so on and so forth. And if you compare it to the years in which he struggled, which were the difficult years, but then you need to remember that through the difficulties of his life, only through the difficulties of his life, he was merited with the name Israel. The name Israel did not come to him when life was easy for him, when it was hard and difficult for him. So we might have quite of a wrong view regarding what is really good and what is really bad. And the Sfat Emet continues and add on that. It says that Shiabud Aguf, becoming slaves, started immediately after the death of Yosef. But with Ptirat Yaakov, when Yaakov died, Nistemu enehem ve'libam, the eyes and the heart were closed. The internal truth, the Shiabud HaMoach, the oppressing, the enslavement of the mind, of the intellect had started. Why? Because as long as Yaakov was there, he says, guys, don't get too crazy. I know everything is shining here. I know everything is beautiful here. I know everything is good. Yeah, can I help you? מה אתה צריך? לא עכשיו, אחר כך. לא עכשיו. אז עכשיו אנחנו באמצע שיעור, אני מצטער, לא עכשיו, אחר כך. אחר כך, אדוני, לא עכשיו. So, as soon as he died, they started to, he was there as a marker, as a cursor all the time for, listen guys, it's beautiful here. There are great cars, there are beautiful women, your beautiful houses, but this is not your home. The eyes were hurt, the eyes was closed and the heart was closed. Means that the mental, the spiritual oppression, the spiritual slavery had started. They got so blinded by the glamorous objects of Mitzrayim, with the gold and the fantasy and the beautiful stuff, they forgot really who they are. And to make it even worse, that is Galut. The essence of Galut is not the imprisonment of one's body. The essence of Galut is the imprisonment of one's soul. So here I'm telling you something very interesting. Rabbi Yehuda Levi said, Anochi libi b'mizrach ve'anochi besof ma'arav. My heart is in the east, because he was in Spain. My heart is in the east, and I am at the end of the west, because Spain to Israel is as west as it gets. Slavery could happen also in Israel. When you go to Israel and you disconnect yourself from the true reason why you're there, and you put all your effort into objects, you are in slavery. You are in Galut. You are a slave. You're in exile. The same thing here. You could be in America and you can learn Torah and you know that it's all passing and you could actually be free. People can imprison your body, but it's very difficult to imprison your head, your mind, your soul. And you should know that the capturing of one's body many times is not dependent on him. But the capturing of one's soul would only occur when you hand it over. Nobody can capture your soul against your will. When you tell me about brainwashing does not occur unless you allowed yourself to be brainwashed. And that is the slavery. And that's the most difficult thing. And I'm going to tell you the following. Yes, in our bodies we came out of Mitzrayim. But in our soul, most of us are still there. Somebody told me, I think yesterday, 2 days ago, he was very upset about some friends that he has that celebrate trees and they put Christmas trees in their houses and Hanukkah bushes and whatever you want to call this and so on and so forth, and they have beautiful houses and so on. And I said to him, back in the old country, would they have that? He says, absolutely not. Back in the old country, would be allowed to marry non-Jewish women? Most likely not. So I said, well, they would have been better off being in the old country than being here. Because here you are free with your body, but you are a slave of your mind. Therefore, Rabotai, be humble. Live humble life. Don't go after everything that is shiny, because it's not most of the time gold. It's just an illusion. It's just an illusion. It's a song from the 80s. What is really important is your spiritual commodity, is what you have. I spoke yesterday with this lady regarding two individuals that we know who apparently are loaded with a capital L, with money. They have more money than I have hair on my face. And as you can see, I got plenty of hair on my face. A lot of money. However, she said to me something very, very interesting. She says to me, you're right, you might say that they have a lot of money. However, that is the only thing they have. She said to me about one of the individuals, I don't know a person in the world that actually likes that person, truthfully likes that person. Yes, so he has a lot of money, but he has nothing else. So it would start with, for example, where you are thinking to live. Where you set your priorities to be important. If you have time to visit, go visit Israel. Go to Israel. Connect. If you have a vacation, you have no vacation. You will have your vacation. After 120 years and 6 feet under, you'll have your vacation. You have time off from work, coming to Yeshiva to learn. Set your priorities. Otherwise, you are going to be enslaved. You're going to be a slave, and you're going to be Eved Avadim, a slave of slaves. You're not going to be free. And that is what the parasha said about the eyes were closed. That's why it's satum velo patuach. Because the enslavement of the mind comes first, and then the enslavement of the body. And that's exactly what happened to the Jews. So remember this, and don't forget.